Have you ever noticed that you're getting up more at night to use the bathroom than you used to? Or maybe you felt thirstier during the day, even though you're drinking water like you always have? These things might seem like just another part of getting older, but sometimes, they're not. Sometimes, your body is whispering something important, and we just need to listen a little more closely. If you've ever brushed off these small changes, thinking they're nothing to worry about, you're not alone. But today, I want to gently invite you to take another look, because your health and your peace of mind are worth it. You see, after 60, our bodies go through changes that can sometimes mask early symptoms of chronic conditions, especially diabetes. And while diabetes might sound like something you'd know right away if you had it, the truth is, many people live for years without realizing it's affecting them. Why? Because the signs can be subtle. They sneak in slowly, changes in your mood, how you sleep, how you feel after meals, and before you know it, it's taken a toll. But here's the good news: if you catch these signs early, you can take simple steps to stay in control and feel better every day. So in today's video, we're going to talk about 6 of the sneakiest signs of diabetes that often go unnoticed, especially in people over 60. These aren't the classic signs your doctor might mention. These are the quiet ones. The ones that hide in plain sight. And by learning to spot them, you're giving yourself the gift of prevention, of clarity, and of a longer, healthier life. If topics like health, healing, and living meaningfully after 60 speak to your heart, I'd love for you to give this video a like, share it with someone you care about, and hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to reach 1,000 subscribers so we can continue growing this community of wisdom, care, and well-being together. Now, let's begin with the first sign, a small thing that can quietly disrupt your days: feeling tired all the time, even after a good night's sleep. Fatigue. It's easy to blame it on age, right? Maybe you've told yourself, well, I'm not 30 anymore. But when that exhaustion lingers, even when you're getting 7 or 8 hours of sleep, it might be something more. People with undiagnosed diabetes often experience ongoing fatigue because their bodies can't use sugar for energy the way they're supposed to. The sugar stays in the blood instead of moving into the cells, which means you can feel drained no matter how much you rest. Imagine your body like a car. You're filling it up with fuel, but the fuel isn't getting to the engine. It just sits there in the tank, useless. That's what happens when insulin isn't doing its job properly. You eat, but your energy doesn't follow. So, if you're waking up already tired, if you need a nap just to get through the afternoon, don't brush it off. Take a moment to really tune into how often it's happening. If it's more than just once in a while, it might be time to speak with your doctor about checking your blood sugar levels. Now, let's talk about another sign that often flies under the radar, something that might seem small, but can really affect your daily life: blurry vision that comes and goes. It's easy to think, well, I'm getting older. Of course my eyesight is changing. And yes, aging eyes do change. But when your vision gets blurry, and then seems to clear up later, or if you're noticing difficulty focusing on words or screens, especially after eating, it could be something more. Blood sugar levels that swing up and down can affect the tiny blood vessels in your eyes, leading to swelling that causes blurred vision. What's tricky is that this blurriness can be temporary, so you might not mention it during your next eye exam. One woman I spoke with recently said she noticed she couldn't read the newspaper in the morning without squinting, but by lunchtime, her vision had cleared. She just thought it was her eyes adjusting to light. But after a checkup, she discovered she had prediabetes, and those swings in vision were her body's quiet alarm bells. Once she began managing her blood sugar more consistently, with small changes to how she ate and moved, her vision stabilized, and so did her energy. So if you've been reaching for your glasses more often than usual, or adjusting the font size on your phone day after day, take a moment to ask yourself, is this just my eyes, or could there be something more going on? Let's move to a third sign now, one that shows up not in how you feel, but in how your skin feels. Dry, itchy skin, especially on your legs or elbows. This one is tricky, because dry skin is so common, especially in cooler weather or when we're not drinking enough water. But when that dryness becomes more intense, accompanied by a crawling sensation, or itchiness that keeps you up at night, it might be a signal that your circulation isn't working as well as it used to. High blood sugar can damage small blood vessels and nerves, especially in your extremities. This affects how well your skin stays hydrated and healthy. If you've noticed that your usual lotion isn't helping much anymore, or that you're scratching more than usual, even without a rash, it might be worth paying closer attention. The skin is one of our most honest messengers. It speaks up when something inside is out of balance. One gentleman told me he always thought his itchy legs were from dry weather, but when his doctor checked, his A1C levels were elevated. It turned out he was in the early stages of type 2 diabetes. He was shocked. He didn't feel sick. He wasn't overweight. But that itching had been telling him something for months. And here's the heart of it, none of these signs mean something is definitely wrong. They're just whispers, clues your body gives you, asking you to pause and check in. And that simple act of paying attention could be the turning point that helps you avoid complications down the line. Now that we've uncovered a few of these quieter, more surprising signs, fatigue, vision changes, and dry skin, let's keep going, because there are more signals the body sends when it needs help, and they're just as easy to miss. We've talked about how fatigue, blurry vision, and dry, itchy skin can sometimes be more than just signs of aging. They might be your body trying to tell you that your blood sugar isn't where it should be. But those aren't the only whispers we need to listen to. There's another sign, quiet but persistent, that affects how we enjoy our meals and our time with loved ones, changes in your appetite or sudden weight loss without even trying. Now, you might think, well, losing a few pounds isn't such a bad thing, right? But when the weight drops off without any change in your diet or activity, it can sometimes be a red flag. For people with diabetes, this happens when the body can't use glucose properly for energy. So instead, it starts breaking down fat and muscle to find fuel. And the result? You lose weight, but not in a healthy, intentional way. You might also feel hungrier more often, even after eating a full meal. I remember speaking to a man in his mid-60s who told me, I was eating like I always had, but the weight just kept falling off. At first, he thought it was a good thing. But he also noticed he was feeling more tired and thirsty, and when his wife encouraged him to get checked, the diagnosis came, type 2 diabetes. He hadn't seen it coming, but looking back, the clues had been there for months. The hunger, the weight loss, the energy dips, it all made sense. And once he started managing it, not only did he stabilize his weight, but he felt more in control, more grounded, and far less anxious. So if you've noticed your clothes fitting looser without trying, or you're constantly reaching for snacks between meals, pause for a moment. It might be time to check in with your doctor and see what's going on beneath the surface. Right alongside appetite changes, there's another sneaky sign that can be easy to overlook, especially as we get older, feeling moody, down, or unusually irritable. Now, we all have days when we feel off, when the little things get under our skin. But if you're finding yourself unusually short-tempered, restless, or even struggling with a low mood that doesn't seem to lift, it might not just be a bad day. Blood sugar imbalances can affect the brain just as much as the body. When sugar levels spike and crash, it's like your emotions go on a roller coaster ride. 1 minute, you're fine. The next, you're snapping at someone or feeling overwhelmed for no reason. It's frustrating, not just for you, but for the people around you. And what makes it even trickier is that mood changes are often blamed on stress, sleep issues, or even just aging itself. But here's what's empowering: when you understand that your mood might be connected to something physical, something you can check and manage, you take back some of that control. One woman in her 70s told me she had been feeling unusually anxious and tearful for months. She thought it was just the loneliness of retirement or maybe hormonal changes. But after a routine screening, she found out her blood sugar levels were high. With just a few adjustments, eating more balanced meals, going for gentle walks, and reducing sugary snacks, her mood began to lift, slowly but surely. So if you've been feeling a little more emotionally fragile lately, give yourself grace. And maybe, also give yourself the gift of checking in, because your emotional well-being matters just as much as your physical health. And now, let's talk about one more sign, a subtle, often embarrassing one that many people don't talk about: frequent infections or wounds that take longer to heal. Maybe it's a cut on your hand that just won't close up. Or a mild urinary tract infection that keeps coming back, even after treatment. You might think, well, I'm older now. Things take longer. But in many cases, high blood sugar slows down the healing process and weakens your immune system. Think of it like this: sugar in your bloodstream is sticky. It makes it harder for white blood cells, the ones that fight infection, to move freely and do their job. That means your body has a tougher time defending itself, even against little things. So something as small as a blister from new shoes, or a paper cut, can linger longer than it should. And when infections become more frequent, it's another signal your body may be struggling to regulate sugar. A friend of mine had this exact issue. He kept getting small infections on his gums. His dentist mentioned it could be blood sugar related, and sure enough, after a checkup, he found his glucose levels were higher than normal. It wasn't just about his mouth, it was about his whole body trying to raise a flag. But here's the most important part of all this: none of these signs mean there's something wrong with you. These aren't failures. They're signals. They're messages from your body saying, hey, I need a little help over here. And that's a beautiful thing, because when we listen to those messages with kindness instead of fear, we open the door to healing, to strength, and to peace of mind. So far, we've covered some of the quieter symptoms of diabetes that can affect your skin, your eyes, your weight, your mood, and even your body's ability to bounce back from everyday cuts and infections. Each one on its own might not seem like much. But when you begin to connect the dots, you can catch the signs early, and take action that protects your energy, your independence, and your joy. Let's keep going, because there's still one more important signal to explore, one that hides in something we do every single day, often without thinking about it. It's something that feels so routine, so ordinary, we hardly ever stop to think about it, until it starts changing in ways we can't quite explain. I'm talking about going to the bathroom. Specifically, how often, how urgently, and even how you feel afterward. Now, let's be honest here, nobody really wants to talk about their trips to the bathroom. But this is one of those moments where being just a little more aware can make all the difference. One of the sneakiest early signs of diabetes, especially in older adults, is frequent urination, going far more often than usual, even in the middle of the night. And with that, there's often another clue: an unquenchable thirst. It works like this: when your blood sugar is too high, your kidneys try to flush it out through your urine. So you end up going more often, and in turn, you get dehydrated. That leaves you constantly thirsty, even if you're drinking water all day long. It's a frustrating loop: drink, pee, repeat, and for many older adults, it can also disturb your sleep, making it harder to feel rested and clear-headed during the day. One woman in her early 70s shared with me that she was waking up 4 or 5 times a night to go to the bathroom. At first, she blamed it on aging or maybe her tea before bed. But then came the thirst. And the fatigue. Eventually, she realized something wasn't quite right and went to her doctor. Her blood sugar was high. After some gentle lifestyle changes and support from her care team, the nighttime trips lessened, and her energy returned. She told me she hadn't realized how much her sleep and mood had been affected until they started to improve. What I love about stories like hers is that they remind us of this powerful truth: our bodies are always speaking to us. The key is learning to listen without fear and without judgment. Now, after walking through these 6 quiet signs: tiredness, blurry vision, dry skin, unexpected weight changes, frequent infections, and bathroom shifts, you might be wondering, what do I do with all this information? The first thing is to simply take a moment and reflect. Have any of these things been happening to you lately? Maybe you brushed them off. Maybe you figured it was just part of getting older. And sometimes, yes, it might be. But if something doesn't feel quite right, you have every right to ask questions. You have every right to advocate for yourself. The next step? Talk to your doctor. Don't worry about sounding dramatic or like you're making something out of nothing. That's what they're there for. And if it turns out your blood sugar is slightly elevated or in the early stages, that doesn't mean a life sentence. In fact, it means you have time. Time to make small changes, one at a time. And those changes can lead to a fuller, freer life. Start by looking at what's on your plate. Are you getting a balance of fiber, lean protein, and healthy fats? Can you gently reduce the sugary drinks or processed snacks? You don't need a perfect diet. You just need one that supports your body, step by step. Think about movement, not as exercise, but as a gift to your heart, your brain, your joints. A 10-minute walk after lunch. A gentle stretch in the morning. Even dancing a little in your kitchen while the kettle boils. All of that counts. And finally, surround yourself with kindness. That means kindness from others, but also from yourself. You didn't miss the signs. You're here now. You're learning. You're growing. That matters. I want to leave you with this thought, from one heart to another, getting older isn't about winding down. It's about becoming more deeply connected to who you are, what matters most, and how to care for yourself with grace and joy. Your body might be changing, but you are not broken. You are still capable of feeling vibrant, strong, and full of purpose. So if something in today's video resonated with you, if you saw even one of these signs in your own story or someone you love, I'd love for you to leave a comment below. Share your thoughts. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you found this video helpful, please take a second to give it a like. Share it with someone who might benefit. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're building a warm, caring community of people who believe in living well at every age, and I'd be honored to have you on that journey with us. Because here's the truth, no matter what challenges you face, you are never too old, never too late, and never too far gone to take care of your health. Every small step you take today is an investment in a brighter, more peaceful tomorrow. So drink your water, get some fresh air, rest well, and listen to your beautiful body. It's doing its best to take care of you. Now it's your turn to take care of it. Here's to living your best life at any age. Take good care, and I'll see you in the next video.